All right, hello, my name is Devin Ward. I am a graduate of Borough Manhattan Community College. I studied film. That is pretty much all I've done in film. I am still a student, but here we are, and we're going to talk about the artist. What's good?
Hi, my name is Emila Ramos. I'm also currently studying film at BMCC and just a long time film lover. That's it.
Hi, my name is Matt. I study film as well. I graduated from UMCC as well. And I'm currently thinking of dropping out of film school for reasons that I'll talk about in another video. So,
Hey!
Ooh, the cliffhanger. Dope.
All right, well, right. So let's get down to brass tacks, guys. The artist. We just watched The Artist, and what did we think?
I thought it was amazing. So
You thought-
meta. It's like a commentary on films that during that time period. You know?
For sure. I thought it was a great way to kind of do a little bit of exposition on what filmmaking was like during that era, in a new way that hasn't been done before, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what I was saying before was, what it brought to the plot, like, just kind of like, it's shoulder to shoulder between modern day tropes and classic tropes. Like, you wouldn't have seen, those as dark of themes, and it wouldn't have been as dead on, in the 1930s, when it comes to like suicide and depression and especially dealing with like the end of traditionalism. Those are definitely themes that like wow, you did just never saw back then. But okay, so going into the pacing and the plot and the script. Alex, you're the scriptwriter extraordinaire. What did you think about the acts, like the structure?
Yeah, it's more like stage acting because you just have to. It's all visual, you know. Most films today have a style of editing which is super fast, super quick, influenced by music videos where the edit is meant to grab your attention. And a movie like this has an older style where you linger for longer and the shots are longer, and I think it really affects the viewing experience.
Oh yeah, like what's his like? I want to pull up that main because okay, so it won like 5 Oscars, I think. It won Best Picture for sure. I'm pretty sure it won Best Actor.
I believe
right
so.
now. The artist, what's his name? George Valentine Jean Hardin. I am chopping that shit the fuck up. Yo, like, yeah, nah. Yo, I mean, just from like the first scene alone, just his blocking, the little intricacies that he does, like you could tell back, even when I was sitting in the theater back in 2011, like, yo, this is something different. The performance of it all, the acting of it all. It was unlike anything that you really saw at the time. It got back down to like like basics of acting, like extreme blocking, right, and emphasizing on every little thing, making every little moment count. It was, yeah, I thought it was just extraordinary, even up to today's standards. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it now. 5 Oscars, Best Motion Picture of the Year, Best Performance in a Leading Role, Achievement in Directing. Now I wanted to talk about that and how simplistic my man Michel Hazanavicius. Yo, I'll get back to that. But Best Achievement in Costume Design and Best Achievement, the score, yo. That was another thing that kind of like crept underneath the storytelling in the most effective way. It's really campy in the beginning, the score, like the doo 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 doo. I thought that was really campy. Like,
Is that your sponsor?
I mean, for 2020, it feels campy.
Definitely.
You know, me and Matt were talking about campiness last night, right? And how, I kind of feel campiness is a bit outdated at this point, right? Like we look at comedy, it has to be so serious for it to be effective comedy, and if it's like anything else, then it'll be a straight to DVD, VOD release, like, bullshit. But no, yeah, like so, the campiness, I noticed that a bit in the score, but then that, that ending sequence, the way the music works and how dramatic it is, like just how night and day it goes from beginning to end, like that, it definitely deserved that fucking Oscar for sure. Um, what
I
is
think
it?
that it's less like maybe less campy per se and more like overindulgent just in what it is, because it is like at first we see like acting through overacting as it was in that time.
Right,
So
right.
it's kind of like a reference to itself, a reference to like the actual era that it's meant to be in.
Mm.
I don't know.
No, I mean, speaking of references, though, like, holy shit,
Oh,
the
did
amount
you
of
guys?
references that I
Have any
saw,
of you guys
I've
seen
heard
Vertigo
about.
by Alfred Hitchcock?
I haven't seen all of it.
Okay, so no, you didn't. So Alex, did you recognize that theme towards the end when she got in the car and he was looking through the mirror in the suit? Did you recognize that theme? I believe so.
Is that a reference? Is that
I
like an
think that was a
homage?
reference. It sounded so similar. I was like, I've heard this theme before, and I'm pretty sure it was Vertigo. So I'll double check that later. Right? That was a
Oh,
cool reference,
okay.
to be honest.
I'm talking like even just the homages, right? Like the fucking the basement type room, Citizen Kane, right?
Yeah.
That was so Citizen Kane. Um, the hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil, Citizen
Yeah.
Kane as well. In the beginning, right when he saves the damsel in distress, right, and they're going up the steps. Battleship Potemkin. I mean, 1927. I'm pretty sure that's like the same year. Three Musketeers, the Hollywoodland sign, um, and then it covers, of course, this period of time in history that, the death of the silent film star, right, and that sudden shift in Hollywood of like the talkie and like the threat it did, it made for silent film stars before that. Very real. I don't think it's based off a true. It's definitely true dynamics within history for sure. Yeah. No, it's definitely an homage to that like sudden. I mean, what is it from 1927 to 1932? I mean, there has to be some type of like sub era in film in just those 4 or 5 years or whatever.
A lot of the silent film stars were not able to make the transition into talkies. Voice acting is completely different than facial acting.
What was it? And so and I realized like a lot of the movie it was just, I mean, of course because it's silent, but just the reaction shots. That that film was such a masterclass in like understanding the power of editing for reaction shots, right? Like the one part where Pepe's on the film set, and then all of a sudden John Goodman, like the director character, like screams at her, get the fuck off the set, and then of course she does like the dramatic like like, yeah,
Estoy hablando
okay.
con.
And of course that
Para mi
again
clase.
that plays back to like the overacting, like Amelia said, like the overacting of the silent era of how effective that had to be.
The way it's shot is so interesting. There's definitely a lot of wide shot going on.
Yeah, it's all a wide shot, even in the close up. And I think there's something to say about what he did, the director Michelle or whatever did for that type of acting within the close up. That's really what I was trying to pay attention to, like how it wasn't noticeable, and there were many silent close-up shots. You know what I mean? So I'm there's definitely something there.
So it used to be all about a look. If you had a visually striking look, that could get you in. Acting wasn't about your voice, it was about the way that you portrayed yourself. It was like about an energy and a feeling. Voice acting is definitely its own skill. Singing as well. It's so different than facial acting.
Oh yeah, and that was in there. That whole plucked out of fucking obscurity trope was definitely in there.
I would think so, and I think that there's like several like movies kind of made about that same like little trope. Like, isn't what is that movie called with Audrey Hepburn, where they have to teach her like how to properly enunciate
Breakfast
and
at
everything?
Tiffany's?
No,
No. Pretty Woman?
No.
original?
What
No.
is it? No. It's like a. Damn, I don't remember, but it has a really. It's like a classic. Like, you'd have to know. It's like old English, kind of. She speaks in a Cockney accent, and they have to like teach her how to speak because.
What's all
That's
this
like-
then?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember the name.
Oh,
but
fuck.
My
Yeah,
Fair Lady,
okay, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I've heard it, of course. One of
And
those.
so I think that it definitely is like as I referenced kind of before, it's like almost a direct at the beginning, at least almost a direct copy of Singing in the Rain, which is about that. The main actress has to be replaced because although she like can act for the screen and like for silent movies and everything,
Right.
when she talks, it's like she has like a really high pitched, like obviously overly irritating voice, but it's very realistic to what would have happened because not everyone has like the range to act, I guess, physically and as well in like vocally, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. No, and it's funny that you said that because I don't know if you guys have, the new HBO Max. if you got that new thing in town, the HBO Max. But we're definitely not sponsored by anything. But
Not yet.
one can dream. But no, like I noticed the library on that, and I was watching like this documentary called The Movies, and it was really talking about how not only did silent film stars they were made of stuff where it was all visual, and like there was one guy in particular, I don't remember his name, but he had a high pitched voice, so like people would giggle and stuff when he would try to like deliver his lines and shit because he wasn't made for that. He wasn't made for looks and sound. He didn't, and that kind of created a whole new dynamic in Hollywood where it's like you had to be perfect. I think even going forward into Hollywood and going forward into society, to be successful you have to be more and more perfect. You know what I mean? Like, of course, yeah. Like nowadays there are like kind of feel good films and feel good celebrities that are like Joe Celebrity, right? Like Aquafina or something. I feel is very like, it's kind of part of her thing. Is she's
Relatable.
She's relatable,
Like accessible even.
Yeah, and especially with women of color, especially Asian women of color, that's kind of like their thing is to look safe and accessible.
I think that going off of what you're saying, it's like there's definitely like even being a triple threat is standard now in the industry.
Right.
So it's like you always have to do the extra thing to like put yourself over the edge. Like I cannot imagine the life of an actor.
No,
It must be horrible.
Yo, like look,
like, yeah.
Look at,
every day, every second.
dude, Hollywood right now, it's either nepotism or you're the child of Disney. You know what I mean? It's like you're either someone's kid or you're Zendaya. Like
Everyone's kid.
Yeah, like everybody, dude. Seriously, like that's.
Yeah.
The Hemsworth brothers, they're all fucking famous because they're family and shit. Like, I don't know. I think it's up to us to kind of be like, fuck Hollywood. Anyway, that's another
Discussion
story.
for
That's
another
discussion.
day. Yeah.
But so I really wanted to talk to you guys about that sequence in the beginning of The Artist. Remember the movie that we watched before? In the second.
No, which one?
Yeah, no, that the black and white one. But yeah, in the top of the second act, the sequence when he wakes up, like he like closes the door and then it just starts in that dream sequence, and then all of a sudden you start to hear sound effects or whatever. Yeah, what did you guys? Yeah, what did you guys think?
Yeah, like same, beautiful.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't expect that because when you said silent film, I thought the whole film would be silent and we were just gonna have music. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, this film is.
I had fingers crossed. My fingers were crossed. Yeah, I was like because I was like, yo, artist, and then we got to the point where I think everyone joined the party and we're about to start. I'm like, oh fuck, everybody's gonna hate it, but whatever.
You know, it kind of reminded me of Pleasantville in a sense, like how the world started changing, the characters started to become more colorful. Like the more the world changed, there was more sound within the world. So it kind of reminded me of Pleasantville in that sense.
Yeah, I have to put that on my watch list because
that's a good one.
that is such a good fucking movie.
I guess that goes along with what you're saying, Matt, of like how the movie is so meta, in a sense, because like as the world around him adapts, we also get like a little bit like how you're saying like more color, where it would actually be more sound. I like that the movie itself was like, since it is like it's a movie about silent films, but not, and in a sense it's a silent film but set way more modern. It breaks a little bit of its rules. It allows for that like kind of like commentary on the movie through the movie itself before we can make it ourselves. Like it like literally it's just hella meta. So
no, yeah, like I mean there was a few moments where, I mean, because I've seen that movie so many times, and I think even just in that watch through right there, like I kind of caught something for the first time when she held up the celluloid of the the roll of film that he was like clutching onto. I just now realized, he was holding onto that outtake of them like together and laughing and holding hands and dancing together, and like there's another thing that this movie does where the subtleties of it, right? And I always talk about Christopher Nolan in the sense where he uses subtleties of violence, right? Christopher Nolan's really good at making like a violent scene physically non-violent, right? Like you don't see people actually exploding, but he makes it like you can imagine it. Like that one part in Dunkirk where like the ship is crashing into the pier and you don't see the guy get crushed, but you might as well have, right?
yeah.
But with this, the director is so good at making it such a sensual movie. Like they didn't kiss once. They didn't kiss one time.
And I didn't notice that.
Yeah, and I love that. And it's because they might as well have though. They might as well have. There was one scene where he like just gets out of bed or whatever, and the blocking I thought was so brilliant in that because she might as well have kissed him. She's sitting down, they're looking dead into each other's eyes. She comes like out of off screen, and then like the way that their like faces are like this close to each other. It was
I thought they were gonna kiss.
No, yeah, they don't kiss.
It was blocked like for that, so.
Yeah, no.
What an interesting choice to do that.
I think that says everything though. I think sex is I feel like right now especially is the most played out thing in film. Like, you know what I mean? Like
I could see that, yeah.
I really see no reason as a filmmaker to have someone naked on set. Like what is it really doing? What are we bringing to the table that I've never seen before, and that will involve, like, it has to involve nudity? I don't know. I think maybe
once upon a time that director wanted to be a porn director, and this is their moment to succeed in that dream.
I think Tom Ford, what he did in that fucking Nocturnal Animals and shit.
Yeah, I was literally thinking about that right now. Yeah.
That like,
that movie.
Yo, like that is it. that was the moment, I think, in the past 5 years where it's like, that is necessary. Like, you know what I
That's
mean?
literally what I was gonna say. Like, if it sexual, like obviously it was alluding to something sexual, but something way more sinister, and so it removes itself from like, all right, we're gonna like put Megan Fox on the screen, take her shirt, like, you get me? Like, it's not like that at all, and it's like exactly for that. And that's also like a great example of subtle violence, I guess, as you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie gets me. Sorry, I'm like.
No, because that's why we're here. That's why we're talking about this shit, because that I think that is what the beauty of filmmaking is everything that you can and don't have to show. It's show but don't tell, but like the only in the medium of filmmaking can you kind of create images like on the spot in your audience member in lieu of like what could have been. Yeah, for sure. So
I think
like, that's so interesting.
Show but don't tell, but at the same time do not like baby like feed your audience like every single thing.
Yeah.
Because when they're allowed to like fill in the blanks on their own, that's what makes it so much more of an impactful and personal experience to like watch a film.
Exactly.
Because it's like, yeah, like if you're telling me like what it is down to the last thing, you're kind of telling me how to feel, like as a general consensus. And yet when you like leave those blanks in, it's like, it's my personal experience of the movie, it's my personal feeling. It's great.
Right. No, I mean, and even covering being in like this having this movie that takes us all the way back in time, and it says everything to like what film is, just a real, I think as filmmakers, dude, we're time travelers, or like we're doing something with time that like that's kind of like our power, is that we're controlling time.
If you think about it, every film is timeless, because like you watch a film from the 70s, in the 2070s you can still watch a film, you could still like evoke an emotion from it. So,
I mean, just even the sheer fact of sitting in the theater, right? Like, and you go to see a Martin Scorsese, a Quentin Tarantino movie, like they're taking 2 hours out of your life that you're never gonna get back, like ever, And what, as bleak as that sounds, like it's so true, and the magic that they could do at that time, and it's where it's maybe time better spent in a movie, like as a filmmaker, like that's what we have control of.
Because that film might have a long-lasting impact on your life for the rest of your life.
For sure.
I mean,
and it could enrich it in certain ways.
Right. I mean, Miyazaki or whatever, Miyazaki, the animator guy, he was saying like, oh, there's a quote from him. I don't know what it exactly is, but it's like, oh, as a filmmaker, like you go out to set out to make a film that's going to change the world, right? But being a filmmaker is doing that. You release your film and nothing happens. That's what a filmmaker is.
Wait, was that you that shared that? I think I.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah.
It's like, this sounds familiar.
So, it's so true, because you're like, dude, it's gonna change everything. What's good? My motherfucking movie, like, and then it never happens. It never works out like that. But
I mean, it could work, but it's like playing the lottery. So
I think that it's like planting seeds in people, and you never know how 10 years down the line, 100 years down the line, that might actually go about a big change.
Yeah. No,
but also, sorry.
No, finish.
Just interesting, like your take on how we kind of control time as filmmakers. You definitely need to give Arrival a second chance.
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
Great.
I know.
It came out in 2013.
Possibly. Amy Adams.
Yeah. I never saw it.
2015.
Yeah.
No, I know it's worth my time. It comes up so much in like the fucking like filmmaker talk mythos or whatever, that like it's I know it's very important. I don't know what happened when I was trying to watch it, but it lost me, and I know it shouldn't have. And
No, don't, because it's actually hard. And
Yeah,
then at
yeah.
the end, you're like, oh shit, like it was worth it.
Okay.
But
okay.
during, honestly, like the first time I watched it, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what's happening?
Well,
It's worth your time.
And do you know
Yeah.
the filmmaker, like Denis Villeneuve? Like, do you follow
No,
him?
I actually don't.
So-
No, I don't actually follow any filmmakers. I'm bad.
Oh, okay. No, well, that's cool. But I follow Denis Villeneuve, and another French filmmaker like this guy. He did the last Blade Runner movie. I don't know if you guys saw
Yeah,
that.
2049. Oh
I
my
enjoyed
God,
that.
the
That was
cinematography
great.
is amazing.
Yes.
Yo,
yes,
for
yes.
Yes,
real.
you're
And
right.
like,
That's what I aim to do. Blade Runner.
and all of his movies are like that. All of his movies are like that. And I'm sure you could see
Yeah,
it
I've
in
seen.
that.
I think I've seen like little clips of like different movies where his cinematography is like. Oh.
Yeah. And he's doing the next Dune movie with Timothy,
Oh.
old Timmy boy. So I'm excited. So 2020, that's the number one thing I forgot to ask. How have you guys been through 20, it feels like 2020 fucking started and all of a sudden here we are, it's fucking July.
It started with World War III. I remember it was a meme. 2020 started with World War III being a meme. That's how you know it's going to be a bad year.
I know, yo, So let's give us a lowdown of your 2020 so far, and I guess I'll go last. To make it film oriented. No.
Right. Well, I don't know if you guys have been seeing my posts, but I've been doing the movie recommendations. I stopped at 101.
Yes.
So-
yes.
I appreciate that, dude.
Yeah,
Very
so-
cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, so like the reason I started doing that was like to keep my sanity, because I was like, if I can at least keep one thing consistent for every day in this quarantine, then I won't go insane. So yeah, that's one thing I've been doing. Just like that taught me the importance of building a habit.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I mean, other than that, it just I like the time to myself and just thinking and dwelling on like on the past and what I can do in the future.
Dude, it's definitely, it feels like a refresh on like, I don't know, just processing things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh girl.
Right?
I should end soon.
Should I go?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, go.
Alright. I mean, if it wasn't apparent, I went through like a pretty shitty breakup. So that kind of like everything kind of like leveled out in January. But like the world was like ending, right? On top of the fact that like my personal world was like ending because it was like my first relationship, whatever. But it's taught me, it's been like super like it's like all everyone's like reflecting, like sitting at home, like overthinking, whatever. It's like intensified. But what has intensified as of recently is just like my desire to create. Because I spend a lot of time like, I guess like when you come out of a period of feeling sad, right? And as an artist, like personally, it just feels like the best and like most consistent way to feel better.
Yeah.
Is to create, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you could like drink, you could do drugs, you could like fucking whatever you want to do. But then it's like once you're making something for yourself, it's like that's something that's only you. You get me?
Yeah.
And after coming out of like a partnership or whatever, it's great to like focus on things that are like just for you.
Right.
So it's like I've been getting more into films and just like although I'm not like great with names or directors or anything, just like
That's all good. That's cool.
exploring more.
That's
And then
fun.
like making these like really sudden but like intense plans with like Janae and like people that I'm meeting online and stuff to like create something, and also just like diving headfirst into like photography, like putting love into something that not only can you like see firsthand like in front of you, but it's like it's yours. Like it's when you make something, it's like it's your baby. You get me?
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like it's, I don't know. The world went through, and now I'm like leveling out and like doing something sustainably good. Do you feel me?
Shoo, indeed. Shoo, indeed. Now, I feel that in more ways than one. It sounds like me and you have been through similar stories, but I really want to focus talking more about how I got out of the funk instead of
Yeah, for
what
sure.
got me in the funk. And it takes. I think we're at a time, and you guys tell me if I'm fucking crazy, where it's like we have to create our culture. We have to create our culture as, millennials moving past this time.
Yeah.
We have to create our culture as people of color, in a time period where it's like, I was talking to you about that analogy at the end of Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh,
Right. You're right. Right. So at the end of Prisoner of Azkaban, are you a Harry Potter head, Amelia?
No, but I'm familiar with it, I believe.
So
I'll remember, maybe.
so at the end of Azkaban, the third one.
Wait, should we spoil it for Amelia? I don't know. It's a cool.
Oh no, I've seen the movies.
Oh, okay.
I just don't know if I'm gonna remember exactly what you're talking
There's
about.
the Dementors, right? They suck the soul
Yeah.
out. And he learns the Expecto Patronum. So, throughout the whole movie, they time travel, and he gets saved, and he's like, oh, my dad saved me and stuff. And
Yeah, yeah.
everyone's like, yo, your
I thought it was
dad's
mom.
like, well, I don't know. Well, because his dad had the same,
my bad.
see, you do remember. So his dad had the same Patronus, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, so my dad, that's him, he's going to save me, because there's no way, anybody else made such a strong Patronus. And he goes back in time, and he finally sees himself, dying, and he's watching himself die. And he's at the top of this hill, and he's like, any moment, my dad is going to come and save me. I promise. And everyone's just like, dude, no one's coming. And he saves himself. He realizes, I have to step up. No one's going to save me here. I have to save myself, so I think that's very much, I've definitely held on to that. And I think in times of stress and woe, that is what we have to do. No one's going to save us. No one's going to come over and be like, yo, moving forward, this is what you got to do. It's up to us. And, I've very much.
You have the ability to do the Patronus, so you just got to go out there and do it.
Exactly, yo.
Damn.
I wanna go, put my Patronus out into the world.
Yeah, right.
Hey, keep that at home.
Whoa, PG.
No.
Nah.
HBO sponsor us.
HBO.
I didn't say it.
But no, yeah, so I've definitely felt like it's time for us to step up. It's time for it's time for us to be leaders in our own respect. And I think starting with this is definitely, I think, a step in the right direction where we gotta come together. This is we work in film, right?
Yeah.
It's a collaborative process. You're not gonna get it done by yourself. So yeah,
but at the
exactly.
same time, you're the only one that could be your own self-starter.
Of
You
course.
can't wait for projects, so it's
Of course.
it's awesome. I don't know. It's great.
Yeah, we have to be our own self-motivators, but I think it's just time to really get out of that. But moving forward, with film, with with our careers and stuff, I think, what do you guys think about the whole? I don't, because I don't want to call it the Black Lives Matter moment in time. It's the Black Lives Matter movement that's going on right now, right? But it felt very much. It feels like a bunch of movements, right? And Black Lives Matter is the major voice politically, right? But there are other voices trying to get people of color our stories told, right? It's not just Black Lives Matter, especially
I call it the time of the civil uprising.
Well, especially not in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hollywood is the number one organization of exclusivity. And you got people like Anthony Mackie speaking out, talking about like the behind the scenes of Disney. You got Tessa Thompson doing the same, talking about the behind the scenes of Marvel. But at the end of the day, something inside of me just kind of says like I think it's going to be a bit slower than like what happened before, like last year, literally with Me Too. You know.
That's the thing. It's like, in a sense, it's frustrating for a lot of people who have already been like aware and talking about these topics, like for years, because it's like that voice was always the minority. That voice was never the majority. It wasn't heard. It was like Constance Wu refusing to go to the Oscars that year that fucking what's his face got his Oscar, and everyone like obviously some people being like, oh, like yeah, good for her, like that's the right thing to do, and everyone else being like, oh, like whatever, like fuck it, congratulations. So it's annoying for I guess people who have been open and been aware and been conscious of that and speaking on it. But of course it's great that people are like now as a mass like pushing for accountability, pushing for people to like own up to their shit. At the same time, though, it's like, what was I gonna say? It's I forgot.
Accountability, people being accountable at
yeah,
the same time.
At the same time, I don't remember.
All right, we'll get back to you. We'll get back.
Wait, before we I thought you were gonna like get into like cancel culture, like how people get canceled on Twitter. Like there's some, like,
I mean,
bad thing about that. But,
I think that cancel culture does not. It's such an illusion. It doesn't exist. No one goes away. No one completely stops what they've done. No one like you can't like you can definitely shame people, but shame has never historically been like the thing that like, all right, I'm good now. Like shame pushes people to act, pushes people to withdraw into themselves and put on a facade, which is like, of course people need to be held accountable, but when it's like such a like who is fucking Twitter to be like shame like, you get me, like all right, got it, right, what are the actual repercussions,
you know,
like
I get that there's a tangible effort to like get people canceled, and I get that that's what people are talking about, especially, you know, what came up with J.K. Rowling and her like 150 signatures or whatever, but I think what we're missing too is like, I totally agree with you. But I think what we're missing too is the power that has kind of come overnight with the internet, and how people are seizing and understanding the power of the internet, and like it's like, you know what I mean, where it's like, oh, like bring this bitch up to Twitter, like she being racist. Like bring this motherfucker up to Twitter, like he being racist. Like
15 years ago, none of this was impossible.
No.
Exactly. No. And it's sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. It's just wild because I think that's the difference. Like now, this year in particular, because if you notice, corporations are finally like succumbing to the power of the internet, of the public. So now it's rather than like, oh, he said this bad thing, like, okay, maybe we shouldn't like put him in an ad for like a year. Instead, it's now like corporations being like, hey, we're gonna cut off all ties with the celebrity, and that's power, and that's change. And that's what I like about what's happening this time. It's not just like, I'm sorry I did the thing. It's like you're facing actual repercussions for the thing you did.
This is we, the people, unlike ever before.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is finally a proper idea of what it is to be we the people, I believe. And it's only just beginning. You know, I don't think, of course, change is scary to people who don't understand it, but I think there are really good ways that we could use this. Of course, there are going to be terrible ways that we're going to see coming out the woodwork, but no, like, or like, have you guys seen that whole, they're having AI choose, like, the next things to, like, the next movie? Warner Bros. Is, like, using AI to use, like...
Oh, I did not hear about that.
To choose
Like the intro to Black Mirror episode.
No, it's like there's the Warner Bros. And another company. There's two major companies that are using AI algorithms to help them choose what to produce next, who to hire,
I
Based
don't like
off of
that.
statistical data, yeah.
Artistically, like leave the AI, leave the robots at home.
Well, I mean, but we're already doing it now, right? Like we're,
I guess.
I'll hear about somebody trying to go up for like a deal, and like they'll be like, oh, like I didn't get the deal because I didn't have 100,000 followers. So they're
Which
looking
is
at
so
their
annoying.
right. So they're looking at motherfucker statistics, like when I heard Instagram was trying to get rid of like that whole top bar, like the information, I was like, that's a great idea.
What is the top bar?
I'm sorry, well, like the followers, the likes, the amount of followers you have
Oh.
and shit, like they were gonna get rid of that, the amount of likes you have on a picture.
Yeah.
But overnight, it would literally take people's power away.
It would take
Climate
people's
change just would go
entire lifestyles away.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
influencers and shit.
But like I feel like
Influencers.
we're slowly coming to like maybe like the other side of the top of the hill of influencer culture. Like I feel like I can see it's starting to crumble slowly.
Okay, can you go more into detail on that?
I just feel like they've had their moment in the sun. Like people have had kind of their fill, because people are fickle. So like they've had their fill of like kind of like meaningless content. Everyone wants to look at, all right, the Instagram model, she has a nice ass, she's on the fucking beach. This dude with all his like drones, like taking these amazing shots in Bali. Okay, we got it, we're good. But it's like we're oversaturated now. So now people are like looking for their next thing that they want to look at, which is like hopefully more meaningful / like informative educational content. And if the indication of like what everyone is like pushing for right now, which is like more activism, where everything is any indication, even though I'm like 100% sure that like so many people are doing it because it looks like the right thing to do.
Oh yeah.
It's still like at least
yeah.
at least like the general consensus is like moving in that direction rather than like, it's not my problem. Like I feel like 2010 people didn't give a shit. No, everyone's like, all right, I just want to like go to Bali. What do you mean, mom? Like racism is still a thing? No.
What do you mean? Well,
What do you mean?
So I mean, I graduated high school in 2011, so I was like 18 in 2011, and I was 17 in 2010. So I was very sentient back then, and I remember like kind of how things were. I remember specifically, like, cause I was a senior in high school when smartphones weren't like, if you had a touchscreen phone, it'd be like, oh, look at this guy. And it's crazy because of how quickly it changed.
Yeah.
They used to say a generation's 25 years. I beg to differ now because of technology.
Yeah.
I think it's about 5 years. And I think, whereas, 10 years ago, you talk to someone 5 years younger than you can still kind of, see eye to eye. Whereas when I was going to BMCC and I was talking to people like 5 years younger than me, I was like, the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, that's stupid. No, like, what do you mean? Like,
wait, really quick, how old are we all?
I'm turning 23 in a month.
Okay, cool. So we're the same age, and
I'm
Devin
26.
is 26.
26.
Okay, cool.
I'll be 27 in September. Fuck.
I'll be 23 in September. Why can't I never know my age. What day?
September 15th, Virgo.
Me too. I mean, not me too, but I'm 9th. I'm the 9th.
I was like, yo, what?
So Virgo!
Virgo!
Wait, you too, Matt?
Yeah, August Virgo. August 27th.
Yo.
Yeah.
Hey.
This is the Virgo
That's right,
podcast.
yo, Virgo gang. See?
Wait, when is Alex's birthday? I feel like he's a
his
Gemini.
birthday is in December, I believe.
Oh, okay.
It went back to September. Virgo. Hello. It's good. No.
Change your birthday.
Legally, I have done that with the power of this plat on the internet. All right, so let's get more serious. How do we feel about the chat? I mean, I think we covered a lot. Back to the film, The Artist. Yes, the one that we watched. The sequence at the end, what did you guys think?
Man, my bad, Amelia, go ahead.
No, go ahead. All you.
Alright, so after the scene when the leaf fell to the ground and he was like holding it, he was like, it's so loud. I was like, they're leading up to the film, and like everyone's gonna be talking at the end, right? And this film is so meta. So
Okay.
what's the most meta? What's the most meta thing to do? When they get rolling, and by the time it goes to action, like that's when the film we're watching ends, but that's when their film begins. So I was kind of like predicting that the whole time, but I thought it was executed perfectly. So I thought
I like
that was amazing.
that. Yo, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, me too. I didn't really catch that fully.
I didn't catch that.
Look at
No,
you.
look at you. No,
Seeing
seriously.
things we can't see.
And no, you're right, because it
Because I'm
was
August,
a.
What? Don't do it to us.
Whoa, blown away by the August Virgo. No, but seriously, no, you're right though. Like that was definitely like the first take going into the era of like sound.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
That was them putting their feet in the water.
I'm more specifically, I'm talking about the sequence with the gun, and she's driving. She's driving to go chase, and like we're juxtaposed between like their two positions, like.
I thought the bang, the text, I thought that was really well done, because like I was kind of thinking like, okay, maybe he actually shot himself, but so the bang was the car crashing, or was it?
Yeah.
Was the car crashing?
Yeah.
See, think about that. Like when a car crashes, like, do you think bang? I don't know.
Well, I think, I mean, it's these two moments, right? And they're fucking coming together, and they meet with the bang.
Oh, so symbolically it's
literally.
bang. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many ways that you could take that, I feel. Like, but they meet with, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, in your head, bang, it does it for you, where it's like those two are just conjoined. You're not sure.
Yeah, okay.
It could make sense either way.
Yeah.
You know, I think that was really incredibly well done. Like,
I'm probably
and
gonna
just-
rewatch that later on.
Yeah.
awesome, yes, yo. I have done my job, yo. No, yeah, like that. And yo, before we go, I did want to mention, yeah, like so the themes I got on the nose. The theme, like when they were sitting down at that dinner, out with the old, in with the new, make way for the young, and beware of your pride. I feel like those are like the main themes for the most
Yeah, I would
part.
agree.
That even speaks to our current generation this year.
And
I feel
Hollywood
a lot of
as a
people are very
whole.
pro out with the old.
Yeah. Very much
Yeah,
Hollywood as a
that's
whole.
true.
Very much like not trying to like let go of the reins. We're very dead in the middle of that as youngsters. I thought the way that they used the title cards, like, you know, I was talking about this with someone where like certain title cards, like it's like super quick, and you can't even read it. But I think in this one, you know, like even with the letter at the end, like I could read it. Like I never, you know, that was noticeable, something small. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely check out Singing in the Rain in Pleasantville. And last but not least, the GOAT, Clifton, yo, the driver. Clifton was the shit. Clifton was the shit. So, all right, yo. So I think that was a good discussion on film and media and things of the like. So
We didn't introduce ourselves.
we did not introduce ourselves. I
Should
think
we
we
do
should.
it?
So when I edit this, I should put this part in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Alright.
Then I guess you go first.
Okay, so guys, this is off cuff, but yo, thank you for your time. Seriously, like you guys, and let's we'll talk soon about the next one if you guys are down.
Yeah,
Because
I
know I am. No, this was mad fun. This was mad fun. So
Yeah.
Next week
let's
is
get.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So
Oh, okay.
I have
okay.
not seen that one.
Word.
So excited.
Fuck yeah! I love that movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, so it's perfect. It's about time I watch it again.
Dope, dope.
All right,
All
guys.
Bye.
see you guys.
Later.
Someone talk to Alex, see why he's gone.